Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in on the west side of the map, playing in blue, we've got puppypaw, playing as the English. And battling against them today, spawning in on the east side of the map, playing in red, we've got Louis MT, playing as the Byzantines. Welcome everyone to Badlands. Hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, and I'm pretty excited for this. We've got two top tier players, two top tier civilizations on a very interesting map. It's called Badlands. And it is part of the KPMM midweek muster. There we go. It's the midweek muster tournament hosted by Killer Pigeon. Well, that's a lot of sheep that puppypaw has been able to gather here. Been able to pip the Byzantines to the post. And it's mostly because of the two initial farms, right? So the two farms are early from the English. Means the scout can go out and about, just stay there and mop up as many sheep as possible. Now it looks like actually Louis MT decided to do this something similar. To go out onto the berries with a mill, which is curious, right? Because you expect to see the Grand Winery as the landmark of choice for the Byzantines, so maybe the Grand Winery might be pushed out here, maybe at the back, when it does look to get to the next stage. I mean, you get the feeling it's still got to be the Grand Winery for the Byzantines. It's such a strong landmark. It scales really well, especially on a map like this, where actually you typically see a lot of games reach the mid to late game because of how big the map is. You got the two wood lines in the north, well, one in the north and one in the south, and they've got a crossway down in the middle, but the players are relatively, they're quite far away from each other, it feels. And so it's very difficult for either player to be super aggressive in the feudal age, and so you typically get players posturing to either go to the castle age or a second town centre, and then work from there. That's a lot of sheep there, from puppypaw 15. This map does really kind of feel like a fast castle type of map because of how much food is on it. There's a lot of deer camps to be taken as well, although they are kind of very much in the middle. Got two massive stacks of deer and also a boar on a sacred site, so definitely is a pull towards the middle of the map. But with a civilization like the English relying on farms nice and early, same can be said for the Byzantines. It's unlikely they'll place any sort of importance get to the middle too quickly. It's an interesting dynamic actually, because these two civilizations do love to get the farms, because of course the English get it cheaply, the Byzantines get extra olive oil, so their transitions are really quite smooth. Because when you think about farming transitions, it takes away a lot of in terms of your military production capabilities, usually for most civilizations, just because of how costly the farms are. Now granted, it's only the English that get a massive discount. The Byzantines, on the other hand, get olive oil, so they can kind of supplement their army with the mercenary houses. Speaking of which, I'm kind of curious to see which contract he'll go for. On a map like this, which is so big, you expect to see maybe Keshex, but we'll see exactly what Louis MT has up his sleeve. So we'll be going around the back to build the Grand Winery on the berries. Now there are two 8,000 gold vein tiles, one actually kind of really nicely situated there for puppypaw. It's behind the wood line, so it could be easily upable in the later stages of the game, but we are far from that position. He's going to go for the council hall. Interesting. And it doesn't actually have any villagers on stone here, puppypaw, so it doesn't look like a second town centre play here at all. I mean, could he be going for feudal age aggression? I'd be very surprised, because it feels very difficult to get massive damage on this map, considering how big it is and how long it will take for your longbows to get across the map. By the time he does, it's quite likely that the Byzantines will have units in terms of mercenaries. Maybe they will think about castle age themselves, but although two villagers on gold, maybe not. Now, I'm pretty excited for 2025. This is, well, we're in December now, 2024. The reason why I'm so excited for next year is because we will be getting a new DLC for Age of Empires 4. I think it's kind of not long awaited, but it feels like it really will freshen things up a bit. So pretty excited to see that on the way. I'm kind of curious to see what civilizations we could get. Let me know in the comment section below which ones you'd like to see. I think personally I'd love to see the Aztecs. Maybe the Vikings? I think the Aztecs would be cool because we don't really have many civilizations, if any, actually, from that region. And I don't know if it fits the time period, actually, but if it does, then it'd be pretty cool to see. And there is the council hall just about to be built. There we go. Grand Winery not too far away from being built either. Did actually commit 5 villagers to that. There we go. Going to go on the berries. That was quite nice for Louis MT, actually, because he can be so expansive with this Grand Winery, because you're not expecting initial aggression too much. Well, having said that, there is a longbow on the field, so maybe puppypaw sensing, hey, look, you want to take the berries in a super exposed area? Well, I'm going to try and punish it. Question is there a mercenary house on the way? It looks like it, yeah. So Keshex will be the natural option here. They'll do well against the longbows. Force puppypaw into a barracks or spearman if he does decide to commit to the feudal age, which he actually is. So there we go. Gonna get a barracks as well for some spearmen, for a combined army of spearmen and longbows. Yeah, it will be Keshiks in the end. Should be able to get the first batch pretty soon. I think the timing of it would be really nice, actually. How long have we got? Or maybe not. 45 seconds. So some of these villages might be harassed a little bit, but not for too long, you feel. Keshiks shouldn't take... I mean, by the time he gets there, to be fair, the Keshiks might just about to be popping out. Now it's connecting the water level. Of course, the cistern is the economic powerhouse for the Byzantines. Gives the villagers and the influence extra bit of gather rate. Currently at water level 1, so it's an extra 10%. That'll increase a little bit. Scout just trying to buy time as much as possible. How long are we away from those Keshiks? Well, good 15 seconds, so a bit of harassment. Probably won't need to... Oh, now there's 2 longbows, it becomes a bit of an issue. Although diving a little bit too close to the town centre. Trying to get an outpost. The outpost should go up to the end with a bit of micro loo empty. Should be able to save this villager. But he needs to get building. I think he should be fine. Just about... Oh, he might lose one though if he's not careful. Go garrison. He does get it in the end. And okay, he actually managed to commit to building an archer too here, the Keshiks, and so the longbows now really do have to back away. I mean, they're going to be taken. They're trying to get some damage in, and fortunately weren't able to achieve too much. But it's got a couple of shots on the archers. So not all is lost, but he will have to head back with his longbows now, at least until some spearmen come out against those Keshiks. Now what's really nice for the Byzantines, of course, they've got, well, I guess arguably a stronger economy in the early game, because of course the villagers had an extra 10% gather. Oh no, that's not been built. Did he pull a villager away from that? That's really unfortunate, because that would have made it up to 14% on the gather rate. Now puppypaw is starting to group up a little bit, and the issue is that as well with the mobility of the Keshiks, it forces puppypaw to stay at home to protect his economy. May need to get a couple of outposts to protect them fully before he decides to really venture out, but we'll see what he decides to do here. The scout just to the north side of the map here for puppypaw, trying to keep an eye on where those Keshiks might be, see if they're going to harass the woodline, and there we go. He's got a spearman there protecting already, just in case. And this is good for the Byzantines, right? Because you feel like their economy should be stronger. And so being on the front foot, getting the map control, forcing the English back home, when really the English perhaps want to be doing damage if they're committing. Although we'll see exactly how much puppypaw decides to commit. I think considering this stage of the game and how it's developing, you get the feeling that English might need to think about, well, castle age, right? Because it feels rough for them to stick out in an extended feudal age. You feel like that would always favour the Byzantines because they've got the extra gather rate. Or they should have a bit of extra. That's just unfortunate for Louis MT. And so because they've got a stronger economy, the longer they stay head-to-head in the feudal age, the stronger their army will become. But puppypaw is looking to now address that by sending his army forward. Let's see how much damage he can do. Path is cut off by a woodline a little bit. Scout just trying to drag in the Keshiks into the fire, but not taking the bait for now. We'll put a bit of a campfire there around the back. Oh, he's still not connected that up. That's actually really unfortunate. Got a group of archers in the north. Interesting choice. He's going to split up the army. And just trying to force puppypaw to say, hey, look, you might be pushing forward, but give you a bit of a counter aid around the back. And with the number of units that are on display now, this is an absolutely fine thing to do. It's a really nice thing that Lumt is trying to achieve here, because it's a whole different story if you've got a huge army from puppypaw and the English that could dive your base, right? This is not an army that the English can dive with, and so splitting up the army for the Byzantines is absolutely fine. He's got a group that's just keeping an eye on things with the Keshiks and the scouts, bringing the archers back. But puppypaw, recognizing there's a threat, bringing the army back home and making sure his resources are safe and sound, because he is looking to go to the castle age. You can see it with how many villages he's got in gold. And he has started to seed a couple more farms as well. Iron undermesh on the way here for the Byzantines. Possibly thinking about taking a fight before too long. He's really cycled way wide on the arc, on the approach. Could potentially snap a villager or two. The Byzantines are pumping out units, so maybe they are sticking to the feudal age for now. Well, at least the Byzantines are spending what he's got. Puppypaw, on the other hand, though, thinking about the castle age. Oh, he's gonna get a couple of villages there for sure. At least 2, you'd feel. Maybe not actually. Maybe just the 1. Yeah, it will just be the 1. But he's gonna snipe a couple of spearmen in the process, which now leaves the Keshiks with a bit more mobility and a bit more able to dive in. So it's going to be the King's Palace. Interesting choice. I don't hate it because there isn't a huge amount of military that is right in his face here for puppypaw. So as long as he can survive, he's got some good numbers of, army to defend with. If he gets to the next stage, he's going to get some premium units. It looks like he's going to go for some knights, for some mobility of his own. And I think that switch up makes it quite nice for the English because he needs to get some mobility. He needs to get on top of those relics, pick them up. If he does get to the castle age, I say when he gets to the castle age. Wasn't able to get the scout in the end, which is unfortunate. But yeah, the switch into cavalry will be a nice one. You might be thinking, well, the Byzantines can get, Limitane in the Feudal Age, and that's true. But having that mobility, it does offer the English a lot more bang for buck on the middle of the map. Though he's going to find it difficult to break out too easily with the number of units that are pumping out for the Byzantines. Although with the number of villages now that he has in gold, Louis empty, he's going to be looking to match and go to the castle age himself. The question is really whether Louis wants to dive this or not, do some damage before the all-important upgrades come on in. Might be a mistake here for puppypaw rather, to venture out before he's got his upgrades. He decides to head back home. He doesn't have enough wood yet for the monastery. Got double stable. And they are both pumping out knights. Now this is a good sizable army, double the army here for the Byzantines. You have to wonder, with the Byzantines being close to the castle age themselves, whether they decide to dive this or not. No, does he not have it? He doesn't actually have enough for upgrades here. He's a bit starving on resources, puppypaw. So there's still scope here for the Byzantines to push this through, because it's essentially a feudal age army. Though he does have the gold a little bit more protected by the villagers. I can garrison inside. So he should be fine for now. I suspect Louis is going to back away because he's not too far away to go to the castle age himself. You kind of expect the Golden Horn Tower as the landmark. We'll see exactly what he decides to do. There it is. Got confirmation of that. And so he's going to be able to get a couple of free mercenary units every so often. Now he has connected the water level, thankfully, in the end. Couple of knights popping out. Now, question is that monastery up yet? Oh, there it is. The foundations are being built, and that's what it's going to be looking to challenge now. Pick up those relics. That can seem in a good spot in the mid to late game. But there's a kind of a nice timing here for the Byzantines. As he gets the castle age upgrades, he should be able to take a good fight with the unit numbers he's got. But one thing to bear in mind, the English transition to farms has already happened. Not to a huge extent, but it's a decent amount of farms. Can't say the same for the Byzantines. With the extra map control, he's been able to venture out on the map, get the further out berries, which is certainly very helpful. But there comes a time where actually it feels like the English now that they've lived into the castle age with the second town centre, they're going to be able to pump more economy, and it's going to be a really smooth unit production, right? Because if they needed a farming transition now, it just delays unit production. Granted, the English have got cheaper farms, so it's not as bad as it would be for other civilizations. The Byzantines, on the other hand, they've got larger unit numbers, but they're going to need a bit of time to set up that economy to make sure the food income is stable. You can see the difference between the two on the income per minute. 900 for the English, about 500 odd for the Byzantines. But yeah, I'm just trying to delay that olive grove transition as much as possible here, Louis MT, going out to the further out berries. Which does increasingly become a bit more a threat and a bit more risky, right? Because you've got veteran units for the English, you've got mobile units, and they might start to harass those food gathering points. He's harassing the gold for now, at least. There's another batch of 8 farms. Now he's just trying to protect the relics as much as he can here, Louis MT. Just trying to force the English to commit units to try and get them. And Louis MT trying to pick up a relic. I don't think he will manage it in just yet. Spearmen are chasing, as are the knights. Villagers here on the berries need to be careful. They're going to garrison, but one will lose their life. Maybe 2, actually. No, he's going to get away with that. Oh, I'm not sure if he lost that in the end. I think he may have. Either way, Keshix won't want to engage against the spearman, really. Oh, he's going to pull away. Good that he does, but the charge coming out for the knight did end up taking the monk. Now, granted, despite the slower tech up to the castle age for the Byzantines, they are actually able to make the monks from the Grand Winery. So they kind of caught up a little bit, right? They didn't have to build a monastery. We go for the blacksmith now. Pretty late in terms of things. I mean, he's obviously focused on the economy, and that's an absolute fine thing to do. Because now these units, when they do get the blacksmith upgrades, they're going to be super super strong. One relic already in the bag here for the English. He's got a superior economy, and it almost feels like Louis' got a... Louis' situation is a bit of a tenuous one. He's got to make sure he gets some damage in soon. Because he's behind on the economy and he can't let that slide for too long. Before things get out of hand for the English. He's picking off a couple of units, which is certainly very nice. Good number of Keshiks. There is a consideration to be had here for the Byzantines, whether they decide to maybe add in a second town centre. It's always a possibility. Looks like for now, though, it's going to stick with just one town centre and unit production. A couple of crossbowmen on the field. Got 400 stone. Okay, yeah, he is placing a second town centre to try and keep up. Not a bad move in the end, because ultimately, you know, the Byzantines have got a strong economy. It is only 14% of gather rate on these, though. These villages. Hasn't got the extra water levels just yet. Pretty passive game, but still certainly a lot to talk about. Looks like actually puppypaw will be able to snag a lot of the relics now. There's going to be 3 in play for him at least. There is one more here in the north that he could potentially look to try and challenge and take. One is coming in though for the Byzantines. Looks like this monk is on that perilous journey towards the north. Maybe not actually, looks like he's going west. To the sacred site maybe? Maybe he's looking to pick up a relic that's already been picked up. Yeah, looks like Louis MT looking to try and get some damage in now. Makes a lot of sense. He's let the English go away freely with his economy for quite a while. Yeah, one thing to consider with the map control that Louis MT has, he might try and solidify it with a keep in the middle, look to get the control of these gold veins. Could be very important. I mean, English just need to buy time, right? Need to buy time for the economy to kick in, which is really nicely transitioning onto food. Got back gold as well. Very nicely protected. It just needs a bit of time and he'll pump out lots of units. The longer this goes on, it feels like it favours the English. As I say that though, Louis MT going to try and get some damage in here. Could be 5 dead villagers. Probably will be in the end. So nicely done. Couple of man-at-arms. Maybe not 5, but only 3 villagers I think they died. But he's looking to get the sacred sites now as we speak. Looking to get a mangonel placement. Knights going to be diving on in. Got a couple of these gulam as well, which is of course our mercenary units. Crossbows are there too. Going to get some significant damage output. Good attacks here from Louis MT overall, all things considered, but he does need to do more. Second town centre is now up and running for him. Still no olive groves. Really relying on the food on the map. This is where it becomes a bit scary for Louis, right? Because the English have got a strong economy, and there's going to come a time where Louis MT can't keep up production. Because he needs to invest the wood into olive groves. That gives a really nice window for the English to be aggressive in. He's starting to lose a couple of units here, puppypaw, for free. It's not what he would want. A lot of it infantry units. You have to wonder whether the Byzantines will think about maybe mangonels, maybe... Well, no, Imperial Age will be a little bit too far away from the situation, but Nester Bees could work quite well from him for the Foreign Engineering Company. Well, that's a long, long ways away. Looking to protect the relic. But he wasn't able to in the end, and it has been Louis MT who's been able to snag that one in the north. Playing for the sacred sites now. It actually looks like puppypaw's got a whole bunch of gold, and I wonder whether he's going to be starting to save up on the food to get to that Imperial Age maybe. Possibly could go for the Berkshire, we'll have to see. Maybe go for the Wingard Rangers, they could be really nice to see. That's a lot of Keshiks though. Only a handful of spearmen. There's a couple of crossbows dotted in, so yeah, it's going to be a lot of Keshiks. 4 of them I think there went down. Maybe a 5th, or he just about gets away with one of them. But really good engagement there for puppypaw for sure. The Keshiks are just going to make their way around though to see what they can do. Try and force the English to think about going back, but I don't think puppypaw needs to necessarily worry about it too much. As long as he's got reinforcements coming up back at home. He's even going to get siege engines himself, although actually he's not really got much here to protect, and those Keshiks might get some value, yeah. He's being forced back, and you can see the benefit of having that mobility. Puppypaw actually heading back with his army, because it had been grouped up, and actually I think, you know, Louis MT could get some significant damage here. This is exactly what he needed. Yeah, I was going to get significant damage. A couple of man-at-arms are there. But he'll be okay taking the fight. Alright, more farms are coming out for the English, it looks like. Although that's going to be, yeah, the Keshiks will die now for sure. That is a lot of farms. Looks like he is thinking about the Imperial Age. You can see he's banked up a lot of gold. He's got food on the way. It looks like actually maybe the Byzantines might be doing the same. What is going on here? How are these not... How is this not water level 3? Oh, right. Okay, that's weird. Like, when you got the foundations on, it actually deactivates it for a temporary second, but that will go up to water level 4 before too long. Keshiks get sniped, a couple of them around the back. Well, the raiding has been completed, right? It looks like Louis MT going to try and make the game a little bit more messy with the walls. But he'll be thinking about going to the Imperial Age himself pretty soon. It's got to be the Foreign Engineering Company, feel like. This feels like it's got to be Nesta B's. That could work really well for Louis. It's going to be the Wingard Palace at the back. He's going to rush it down. He feels he wants to get there quickly. 33 villagers on that. He really wants it bad. Understandably so, because he's got a lot of gold in the bank. He just probably wants to spend it on lots of important upgrades. But Sacred Site Victory is an opportunity here for Louis. He's done some raiding around the back, but perhaps not as much as he would have wanted. And so the earlier King's Palace has put the English economy in a really good spot. Now granted, of course, the water level 4 has been fantastic. It's now, what is it now? It's going to be like 20%, right? 22% extra gather rate. That is a huge amount. Alright, so Louis MT, of course, now knows about the Imperial Age, and he's going to have to do something to match, right? Unless he goes for a Castle Age all-in, like just to protect the sacred sites maybe. But he doesn't really have enough stone for keeps, and so it's going to be a tricky one. It's an important decision, that's for sure. And this is where it hurts, right? This is where the olive groves need to come on in. And it's a time where actually puppypaw will be happy to... No, he doesn't know this is happening necessarily, but he'd be happy that it is. If he did know about it, because this gives him time for his upgrades, right? Where in reality, the Byzantines possibly would have wanted to have been pressuring. But he's looking like he's going to sit back on the sacred sites for now, at least. But 8.5 minutes, or almost 9 minutes now, is a long time to last and protect the sacred sites for. That's a long time for puppypaw to build up an army, which he is now starting to move out with. That's a huge number of units. And the armor to the man-at-arms are coming in. There's the elite man-at-arms. We've got elite crossbows. They're sprinkling in a couple of horsemen too. And that wolf has been on a mission for a while, I think. Alright, Foreign Engineering Company, 17 villages on it. But the interesting thing is that by the time that comes on in, puppypaw might decide to push on through, recognizing that, well, you know, the Byzantines have just invested a lot of resources in the Imperial Age. He needs some time for the upgrades. Puppypaw might decide to go in now. Going to deny the walls as well, which is a really good pick-off. Means the army gets in that much quicker. Not having to torch down the walls, although to be fair, palisade walls are pretty easy to torch down with this number of melee units. That's going to become a problem. He hasn't got the gold secured, I'm afraid. There's no keep here. So he's going to have to rely on just olive oil. This is an issue, right? Because now puppypaw are deciding to go for this 8,000 gold vein. Got a handful of archers around the back, just to keep reinforcements at bay. Try and pick them off, get some villages if he can. But there's horsemen there, that's exactly what he needed to try and deal with that. This is a big push for puppypaw, and it could be a deadly one. He has neutralized the sacred site, so that's not a win condition really now for Louis MT. This is a huge elite army coming through. Villages on the goal being pushed away, but enclosures should be, you know, in for the English. There it is. Oh, he's going to do a couple of villages around the back though, but the issue is that, yeah, he's going to do economic damage. Reinforcements, where are they for the English? He's not dealing with this very well at all. He's been getting Wingard raiders. Oh, this is a big army though. I don't think Louis has enough to deal with this, surely. This is a huge army, 105 military units. The army is just absolutely pounding these units from the Byzantines. Got a couple of Nesta Bees, but there's only 2 of them, and actually he's not been protecting them. He's going to lose one of them at least. Now he's raiding hugely around the back. He's killing a lot, but eventually the horsemen, yeah, the cavalry will deal with that. It's not a huge force like the Byzantines had, but he's going to lose the Nesta Bees, and that's huge. He's going to lose the Mangonel too, and that's it. I think Louis MT loses his army. He has killed a lot of villagers, 36, but the trouble is he doesn't have military on the field, and that Olive Grove transition, it's come at the worst possible time. He didn't have enough time to set it up, and it means now he's down to 14 military versus 100 from the English. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. GG gets scored. Louis MT taps out. puppypaw takes the victory. It was a very surgical approach, methodical, and you could see the game plan right from the beginning to the end. It was a cracking game of Age of Empires. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, and see you next time.